The story of Rapunzel. Listen, I'm not saying that some people overreact or anything, but try this on for size. A husband gets caught by the kooky neighbor gal while he's committing the treasonous crime of stealing her radishes. The lady's response? Threaten to kill the guy and his pregnant wife unless they fork over their new kid when she's born. For radishes? If I ever got tricked into growing radishes and someone else was so kind as to come and steal them, I'd give that person a reward. Regardless, the woman gets the man to agree to this, picks up baby Rapunzel from the birthing ward, and does what any normal person would do in this situation. Locks her new child in the big, tall, stairless tower in the backyard. Rapunzel spends her days up in the tower doing, well, whatever you do when you're locked in a tower 24/7. Probably the jumble. Each day is highlighted when the crazy gal shows up outside the window and demands admission by speaking the most famous entry request phrase in fairy tale history, little pig, let me come in." Rapunzel, of course, responds by letting down her exceptionally long hair, which one hopes doesn't refer to the hair on her chinny chin chin, and the wacky lady then climbs up for a visit. One day, a prince comes riding by on horseback. You'll notice there's a lot of princes out roving the countryside in these stories. He hears Rapunzel at the window having a little one-person tower sing-along, probably rapping some Eminem or something like that. He's immediately enchanted by her voice, but lacking access to high-quality pole vaulting equipment, has no way to get up to Rapunzel's window. Instead, he's forced to hide in the bushes with his binoculars until he can figure out how the nutty homeowner woman makes her daily entrance. Once Prince Peeping Tom finally learns the magic words to gain admission, he tricks Rapunzel into dropping her tresses for him instead. They immediately hit it off. Actually, in one version of the story, she ends up pregnant, so maybe her hair wasn't the only thing being lowered. And they begin plotting how to bust Rapunzel out so they can start living happily ever after. Unfortunately, neither of these two is exactly a physics wizard, so this turns out to be a bit of a struggle. They devise some sort of plan where the prince will smuggle silk up to Rapunzel until she has enough to make a ladder and climb down to freedom. Okay, Einsteins. Of course, this plan doesn't come even close to working. The crazy lady catches on to the scheme and responds by chopping off Rapunzel's hair and booting her out to live in the woods. The lady uses the leftover locks to lure the prince up to the now Rapunzel-less tower, gives him the bad news that his girlfriend is gone, and throws him back out the window and into a big pile of thorns where he ends up blind. Kind of a crappy day for him. But not all is lost. The prince randomly wanders around in the woods, bumping into trees for a while, until one day he hears a familiar voice busting rhymes and belting out Kanye West lyrics. The lovers are soon reunited. And then, in a convenient bonus, Rapunzel starts crying, and darn if her tears don't just happen to cure blindness. Suddenly the prince can see again, and he and Rapunzel ride off into the sunset, either to rule his kingdom, or maybe to open up a roadside stand selling radishes. We'll check out the news next. Maybe that roadside stand will be this week's sponsor.